This is lesson 6. I will multiply two-digit multiples of 10 by two-digit multiples of 10 with an area model. So if you think about a two-digit number, that just means that it has two digits in it. So I want to show you an example of a two-digit model, or excuse me, of a two-digit number. So this is a two-digit number, but it's got to be a multiple of 10. So this is a two-digit multiple of 10 times another two-digit multiple of 10. So that's what we're going to work on today, but we're going to use an area model to solve how to find two-digit multiples of 10 times two-digit multiples of 10. All right, turn to the next page in your journal, please, and put today's date. And I want you to write lesson 6, multiply two-digit multiples of 10. This should just be digit, not digits. Multiply two-digit multiples of 10. Okay, so I'm going to have a few things for you to write in your journal today. The first thing I want you to write in your journal is I want you to write 40 times 20, just like I have up here. You don't have to write concept development or anything like that, but I do want you to write 40 times 20 horizontally, just like this. And then I want you to think to yourself, what's another way to express 40 times 20? Or what's another way to write 40 times 20? Well, here's one example. You could say 40 times 20 is the same thing as 4 tens times 2 tens. And that's kind of how we're going to think about 4 tens times 2 tens. We're going to use some of the strategies that we learned when we were finding the area to create an area model. So in your journal, I want you to draw this model, just like this. 4 digits by 2 digits. So you can see right here we've got 4 tens, 1, 2, 3, 4 tens times 2 tens. So it looks just like a rectangle that you would use when you were finding the area model. And I want you to label 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. So here's 2 tens times 4 tens. Now, what would be the area of the square? So if you think about it, each of these squares have an area of 100 because 10 times 100. So you have 100 here, 100 here, 100 here, etc. Everywhere. So what would be the area of the entire rectangle if each square had an area of 100? So if you add all those together, the area would be 800. So 40 times 20 equals, so on your journal, I want you to write 40 times 20 equals 800 because 2 times 4 equals 8, 800. And 10 times 10 is 100, so we have 800. So 4 tens times 2 tens equals 8 hundredths. That's new, isn't it? We're going to try one more. So find some more space in your journal, and I want you to write the math problem 50 times 40 horizontally, just like you see it here. And then we're going to draw an area model. We're going to label it 4 tens across and 5 tens down. So you should end up with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. You should end up with a total of 20 squares. So if each of these squares had an area of 100 and there's 20 of them, then 50 times 40 would equal 20 hundredths, which is the same thing as 2,000. So 5 times 4 is 20, and tens times tens is hundreds. So we have 50 times 40 equals 2,000. So what conclusion can be made about multiplying a unit of 10 times a unit of 10? You take 10 times 10, what do you get? You always get 100, right? A 10 times 10 is 100, and then you multiply your tens times each other. You're going to start to see a pattern as we work through some of these. If you don't see it yet, that's okay. Just keep looking for it. Go ahead and get out your problem set, please. And I want you to write your name at the top of Lesson 6 problem set, and then let's go ahead and get started. It says represent the following problem by drawing disk in the place of A chart. We didn't do this in our journal, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and do it on this problem set. This is just another way to look at it. So whenever you're thinking 2 tens times 4 times 10. I know that seems a little silly, but if you think about 20 times 40 is the same thing as two tens. There's your 20. Instead of four tens, you can think of 40 as 4 times 10. So we can kind of put these two together and say two tens times 4. So if I come over here and here's my two tens, and if I multiply that times 4, that's 2 times 3 times 4. So that gives me 8 tens. Okay, now I'm going to multiply all of that times 10. So when I multiply something times 10, I move it to the left on a place value chart. So instead of 8 tens, now I have 8 hundreds. So 2 tens times 4, 8 hundreds. So this is kind of how we work this out. We did 2 tens times 4. If you remember, we went up here and we went 2 tens, and we multiplied it times 4, and then we multiplied that times 10. So that gave us 20 times 4 times 10, which is 40. And then we had 20 times 40. So the answer to all of these would still be 800. Now it says draw an area model to represent 20 times 40. So our area model in here's 20. 40, 20 times 40, which would be, that gives us 8 hundredths. 2 tens times 4 tens equals, look at number 3. Now I'm going to show you a faster way to draw an area model, a little bit easier way. Okay, so we're going to start with our rectangle just like we were before. But instead of drawing all those vertical and horizontal lines, which can kind of get messy, I'm just going to put 3 tens instead of 10, 10, and 10. And over here, put 4 tens. If it helps you to go ahead and draw the lines so you can count the boxes, you can. But if you've noticed, every time you multiply these two numbers together, that tells you how many boxes you have. So there's 12 boxes inside here, and 10 times 10 is 100, so now the answer would be 12 hundredths. So 3 tens times 4 tens equals 12 hundredths, which is equal to 1200, or, excuse me. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. So again, I'm going to use that shorter way to draw the area model. If you want to try to do this one by yourself, go ahead and pause the video and draw it by yourself and then check back with me and see if you did the same way I did. Tens, 5 tens, give me 10. Now it says rewrite each equation in unit form and solve. And they've kind of rewrote it for you. We just have to go back in here and solve it. Okay, so we've got 2 tens. This is right here. 20 is the same thing as 2 tens. 2 tens is the same thing as 400. 6 tens times 2 tens. 6 times 2 is 1200. 12. Hopefully you're starting to get the hang of it. Maybe you feel like you could do the next one two by yourself. I want you to try, and you can check back with me. Okay, so you should have had 7 tens times 2 tens equals 14 hundredths. 7 tens times 3 tens equals 21 hundredths. Okay, so now we're given a an application problem. If there are 40 seats per row, how many seats are there in 90 rows? So that would be, these were our 40 seats, so I'd have 4 tens or 40 seats going this way. And then if I had 90 rows, 9 tens, that would be 36. So 30 times Try to do number 10 by yourself and see if you can do it. I bet you can. One ticket to the symphony costs $50. How much money is collected if 80 tickets are sold? So that means I have 50 tickets, 5 tens, 80 of them, so that would be 8 tens. That equals 40. So $50 times 80 equals $4,000, which is 4,000. $4,000 fee. I hope that you're starting to see the patterns and to figure out that 10 times 10 always equals 100. I want you to make sure that you do the practice, and when you're finished with the practice,